Alright, so here we are. Okay, Jeremy Zag, you get one shot at this. We've already learned what not to do with this IP. With 8 years and 5 seasons worth of anti-writing lessons, you have the tools to bring out the potential of Miraculous Ladybug. Don't mess this up.
No pressure!
Hello everyone, my name's Aloubell and it's finally here. Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir the movie. Or Miraculous Ladybug Awakening? Was the second one a working title or is that the title in other countries? Anyway, Ladybug and Cat Noir the movie. Right away, I'm wondering if Cat Noir's inclusion in the title will be justified and if they'll treat him with equal respect to Ladybug. Guess we'll find out. You guys, the hype for this movie has been super real ever since it was announced. It's certainly curious knowing it's a different canon than the show proper, but that could be a good thing. Who knows? Anyway, I've stalled long enough. We've got a real treat for you guys. Callimara, yes, the Callimara and I have gotten together to watch this movie and then give you our unscripted thoughts on it. This might also go without saying, but heavy spoilers for the movie throughout this video. The review is split up into 2 parts, one on my channel and one on hers, so if you want our full thoughts, make sure you check out both videos. But before we get into it, if you're enjoying this video, then show me your miraculous side by hitting the like button and subscribe for more reviews, rants, and rewrites. Follow me on my socials in the description, and be sure to join our community Discord, the Bell Tower, link also in the description. And make sure to subscribe to Callimara if you haven't already. She's a super talented artist, designer, and storyteller. If you're still watching at this point, put the ladybug and black cat emojis in the comments. Thank you! And now, without further ado, please enjoy our review of Ladybug and Cat Noir, the movie. Alright guys, welcome to the unscripted cringe that will be the Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir movie.
Exciting.
Oh, and look who I have here. I have Callimara here. Whoa.
Hello, everyone. This is Callimara here, and this is my friend who I just met today, Aloubell.
Hello, everyone. Aloubell here, and yes, we are finally going to watch the movie that has been, I guess, anticipated is the right word.
Dreaded.
That was the other word I was thinking of. I was thinking of what's the opposite of anticipated, but in a bad way.
Yep, pretty much. So, how did you come up with the idea that you should... what made you want to review the movie?
Well, I've skipped out on so much of regular Miraculous, and I've made it basically a meme on my channel that I don't really watch the show, but I know way too much about it, like almost all of it, and I kind of refused at some point. I've seen one episode with, like, it muted, so I watched the episode. I'm like, I refuse to finally watch an episode. But I have to watch this for the sake of a review, so I know what's happening, but I refuse to give in all the way. But I thought...
We could try and put it on mute. If we hit a musical, we can we can put it on mute.
I mean, if it's true that Tiki raps in this movie, I kind of want to experience the cringe.
That's true. I have tried to escape Miraculous Ladybug, but they just keep pulling me back in, you know? I ended my redesign series like a while ago with Kagami, and I was supposed to do an epilogue after that, but I just haven't gotten around to it because...
Oh no. Hey guys, you're gonna experience some weird microphone issues. Sorry, you cut out a little bit there.
It's okay, I'm also recording on my end, so I can provide my audio files to you. Okay,
love the jank. So much jankiness. It's gonna be great.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to watch this movie until Aloubell, you came and you were like, you want to review it together? And I'm like, okay. So now here we are. I'm very easily convinced.
Which I deeply appreciate, like, so much. Thanks, by the way.
No, you know, I needed a friend And I also think it'll be good, you know, as I don't know what it would be, just a review, I guess. I was gonna say as the end of a chapter, the end of an era. I don't think it's ever gonna end. I don't think I'll ever be able to fully escape this show, ever.
No, I think you're pretty cemented in the whole Miraculous reviewers hole that you're in. So,
yeah. Unfortunate. It's so unfortunate.
No, it really is. I'm trying to crawl out myself, but I can't. I want to really bad.
I tried I'm even like creating my own Magical Girl series just so I can do Magical Girl but not Miraculous, please. I would do Wings Club as well. I'm doing Wings Club as well, but you know. Anyway, let's do this movie thing.
Actually, really quick, I initially intended to invite like all of the not all of them, but a good chunk of the Miraculous reviewers, and have like one big grand collab, like the most ambitious thing since Avengers Endgame. But it'd been
slay.
It would have been really hard to. It's actually really hard to get to reach out to YouTubers. I'm discovering.
Yeah.
So this is what you get, guys.
It's very hard. Yeah, it's difficult because we get so many like spam and phishing emails. You just don't know who to trust, you know?
No, I get that. So once again, thanks for replying to my email so quickly.
No problem.
All right, guys, let's do this. We're all going to jump in this together. We're going to see what happens. If I don't make it out of this alive, you guys can have my room. You guys, work it out between you guys. Don't touch my piggy bank, though.
I will be making this out of this alive because I am a stubborn person.
All right, guys, let's do this. All right, so quick disclaimer. I tried to record the screen while we were watching the movie just so that our reactions would be recorded, but unfortunately, turns out that Netflix will not allow you to actually record what's on screen, which in retrospect makes sense. So unfortunately, you won't be able to see what we're seeing, but you will be able to hear what our reaction is. I'll do my best to put a description of what we're seeing on screen, but that's kind of the best I can do, considering the things we react to aren't all in the trailers. So sorry about that. And hopefully for those of you who watch the movie or are going to watch it will just understand the context.
What was the timestamp?
Actually, I kind of missed a little bit of the talk about Hawk Moth, so maybe we can go back to 047.
Yeah, fair. Because I was about to complain about that. Like, why are these magical jewels given to the best people, but there's just one that's evil? Just a random one that's evil for the drama.
They dropped it in Chemical X or something. I don't know. I was wondering that too. I'm like, wait, why is this one automatically evil? Hold on.
Oh, that's sweet. The lighting is so pretty. Oh my god.
Everything looks so smooth.
You just have to believe in yourself.
It's beautiful. It's like so real. The eyes are so glassy.
Like, I'm not a fan of the animation of the show.
Oh. She's singing. Oh, it's pretty. Marinette's voice is so nice, and the musical was really good. I can already see a lot of people like making song covers of that one song.
No, yeah, it was a nice song. I personally had a hard time kind of understanding what she was saying at times. I think she was like really soft, but I liked the overall sound of it. That didn't sound like Christina.
They definitely hired a separate singer for her.
That's so weird. Christina can sing.
Yeah, is it still the same voice actors?
I mean, it kind of sounds like her when she's talking a little bit. It was like the speaking voice and the singing voice sound very different.
Yeah. Because I was hoping that they would keep the same VAs singing as well, because they kept Bryce singing, but they might replace him as a singer now, which is probably a good thing, but not for Marinette, because I know that her VA also does Veronica Mayday in Hell of a Boss, and she has like a really nice musical number.
No, yeah, I've heard Christina V like sing covers of songs like over the years. She has a great voice. I don't know why she has a different singing voice actress here. That's a weird choice. It's a great voice. Like, that is a very good voice, whoever that is. It's just not Christina.
True.
But no, that looked absolutely great for sure.
I didn't have a problem with like understanding her at all because I just have closed captions on. I had subtitles, so I could always just understand what she was saying.
I forgot that was an option. Hold on. Let me turn that on too.
I mean, that is still an issue if you can't understand what she's saying, though. It's like a enunciation issue.
It's
like Ariana Grande School of Diction.
I think it was both enunciation, and for some of the songs she was a lot quieter than the actual music behind her. I mean, I get that she's shy, so I get that's part of the characterization, but for the sake of listening to the lyrics, it was a little tricky. All I knew is, this sounds nice. Wish I knew what she was saying.
Yeah,
Nice.
they could have mixed the sound and vocals better. Like, if she was being quiet and shy, they should have like toned the music down to follow the voice, you know?
Yeah. But again, overall, nice. I will have to go back and listen to see what the lyrics were for some of it, but I can tell I'm a shy person. I want to break free. I get the general thing.
I noticed that Marinette isn't as expressive in the show, but it's actually kind of like, sometimes it's good because it makes her appear more reasonable and human, but sometimes it kind of like, they could have animated her a bit more. It feels right now a little bit like they're trying to make her pretty, like she's animated to be pretty. You know what I mean? How is he allowed to walk around unsupervised here?
I guess the rules are different in this canon.
Different, probably. Like, I guess not a lot of people know him, hey. Like, nobody's like fawning over him. Oh, Natalie looks so much nicer. And Emily.
Oh, I didn't even notice that people aren't going crazy for him. That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not a model in this universe?
Maybe not. Or maybe he is, and he's just not as well, like a celebrity level.
A lot more thought was put into the lore. I appreciate that.
Well, because the movie has to have everything in chronological order. The series just picked a random point in time and started there and went from there. That's what I said in my story, in my rewrite. So it's like they're taking in a lot of my feedback. I think I should deserve some royalties for this.
I can't even hate it. It's so ridiculous.
Shut up. My god.
Ladybug!
And Cat Noir!
Ladybug!
And Cat Noir!
Ladybug!
Cat Noir!
He's resolved. He's resolved his conflict. It's fine. This is her conflict. Acceptance. By society, I guess. Oh, this is Miraculous Ladybug here. Interesting.
Although she's still fixing and not so much creating, but still.
That's true. I guess, I mean, I could accept this more simply because if there are opposites, like Ladybug and Cat Noir are opposites. Oh my god, her dress is so pretty. Cat Noir and Ladybug are opposites, then if he destroys things, then she fixes them. You know, it's not really creation, but it is, you know, still opposite.
It is the opposite.
To each other.
I'll give you that. It's the opposite.
I miss you
So emo.
The world is at peace, but my heart is still in turmoil.
Oh, shut up! I can't stand him. He aggravates me.
All right. So, we got through it.
We did it. It was actually much less painful than I expected it to be.
No, yeah, agreed. It was definitely a lot less painful. I have quite a few thoughts.
I have a lot of thoughts, but most of them are actually positive, aside from where I was complaining about Adrian most of the time.
No, yeah, I have a few nitpicks, but aside from that, it's a lot more solid of a...
Yeah.
If I really wanted to,
For sure.
I could be really picky about this if I really wanted to. Like, it's not a perfect movie. It's definitely not perfect. But it gets the job done significantly better than the show does.
It actually, I think, here's the thing, right? With Avatar: The Last Airbender, people would say, oh, there is no movie. What are you talking about? Whereas with Miraculous Ladybug, I feel it's the opposite, where it's like, there is no series, only movie.
The series is just a fan fiction written by the creator.
Yeah, that's right. I think my overall thoughts for this movie is that it did what the series pussyfooted around doing for 5 seasons. Like, it got everything done that the series did not have the balls to do in an hour and, what was it, like 20 minutes or something?
An hour and 40, roughly.
Yeah, an hour and 40 minutes, and it is great. I liked it because, I'll be honest, a lot of what they did was exactly what I said they should do in my rewrite series. So they took a lot of, like, I don't know, obviously they wouldn't be, like, watching my videos and, like, writing things down, but they addressed a lot of my issues with the series, so I'm happy with it. I honestly, there are a few nitpicks, obviously, but otherwise, I really liked it. It was so good, and it was so beautiful. The art and animation were stunning. Like, there were points in the movie where I would say it looked better than, like, a Disney or even Pixar production.
No, that thought also crossed my mind too. That crossed my mind a little bit. Movie has been worked on for a while, so I'm glad they were actually using that time to actually polish up the animation and stuff. Let's see. Funny if you should mention the Avatar movie for Last Airbender. I think one of the problems of this movie is the only similar problem I see to Avatar is that they tried to shove an entire season of stuff into one movie. In this, it's kind of a similar thing where they have to get through a lot in a very small amount of time. It was done way better than Avatar. Like, do not get me wrong, everyone. This movie may have the pacing may have been quick, and they may have shoved a lot in there, but it was done significantly better. Like, I'd rather see this than Avatar than The Last Airbender 100 times over.
Yeah,
but it still
I feel
moved
like
really
they
fast.
Yeah, they had a lot of content, but I also felt like the amount of content they had in there was appropriate, so that none of it felt that rushed, aside from, I guess, like, Adrian's infatuation with Ladybug, but that's always bothered me regardless. Like, I never liked how Cat Noir acted around Ladybug, even in the series. And so it's like, it's not really a matter of pacing as it is just consistency with the character. But I think the amount of content they had in there just ensured that the movie always had something going on. So none of the scenes really felt like they were unnecessary or that they dragged at all. I felt like every scene in the movie had a specific purpose, and it delivered really well. And honestly, because I was still of the mindset that, oh, I'm watching this movie without knowing anything about the series, I think it's very good, because I wouldn't know what content is being omitted and what content is being, like, rushed into the movie. And, well, from my perspective, and I've already forgotten most of Miraculous Ladybug anyway, this is really nice, because it had a nice, clear arc. It was nothing, like, story-wise, nothing extraordinary because I do know some spoilers, but also it had a nice resolution. I really enjoyed how they ended things off. Especially with Gabriel and Adrian, which the relationship is pretty much neglected for most of the series. And I also this is in the beginning as well, when Master Fu approached Ladybug and Cat Noir, he actually approached both of them and explained the premise to both of them instead of just to Ladybug and Marinette like he did in the series, where he only summoned Marinette to come see him so that he could explain everything and kind of neglected Adrian completely. So I really like this, and I like that they kind of developed Adrian's character to be more than just the annoying guy that's in love with Ladybug. He has that rage moment, and he is the one to actually help his dad come out of his grieving, which I thought was so good. It was a good resolution for them.
I think I do agree with that too. I think for me, part of the more rushed part, I think it was that montage more than anything that kind of messed with me a little bit. We see that Adrian and Marinette are hanging out, which is cool, but we don't see enough of that outside of a montage. I know that Marinette's in love with him and all that stuff. And you can there's so much more chemistry with Ladybug and Cat Noir because we see them doing more things on screen with each other, and they're the same people, so this whole love square thing is stupid to begin with. But the point is that if they weren't the same people, it'd just be weird with the whole Adrianette thing because we don't see them together. But whereas you see those two together, which I don't know, it's a whole thing. But again, the movie did resolutions way better than the show ever could hope to do. And let's see if we can slightly organize our spastic thoughts a little bit.
Okay,
here.
So I guess how do we want to do this? Do we want to go by point with each category?
Yeah, we can do it like that.
Okay, so let's start with the story and plot.
Let's see.
I have some notes written down.
Oh, yeah,
so
go for it.
I think I'm just gonna go down my list, and you can if you have related thoughts, or if you want to add on to a thought I have that is similar, you go ahead and you can do the same as well, and I'll do the same. Basically, the story, again, there was we talked about pacing a little bit. Everything was put down in a montage, but I don't know, maybe I'm just not invested in the romance in the first place anyway, so I appreciated the bigger chemistry on action and just the development of Marinette's character as a person, and not really with her romance with Adrian. That I like that it's supplementary and just accessory to who she is as a person, as opposed to her entire point of a character. But I will say the dialogue can be really straightforward. They just literally say what's happening at several points. And if the first time was Gabriel doing it at the beginning, where he's I will do ABC, and then several instances of this happening, the dialogue being really straightforward, and they all for some reason come from Gabriel. But I get it, it's a kids movie, they kind of have to not be that clever with the lines. I also appreciate that it was Tiki who chose Marinette and not Master Fu, who kind of scoped her out and left the box for her and set up this trap where she had to save him.
Oh yeah, this.
I appreciate
this. Yes.
I appreciate that a lot, because it kind of makes it a lot less creepy where this old man just chose a 14-year-old girl to be a superhero. It makes more sense that Tiki, it's a bit, I guess not more sense, but it's more forgivable that Tiki was the one that chose Marinette.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
No, yeah, I always had an issue with how Ladybug and Cat Noir were chosen. I even said in the past, how did Master Fu do this? Did he just keep pretending to almost get hit throughout the day until someone finally, saved him? Or there was it was a problem. But in this movie, it wasn't even him who chose her, which is cool. And him accidentally getting running over was legitimately an accident. It wasn't him planning this little scheme out to find somebody. So, yeah, definitely better. But it looks way better for him on this. So yeah, I agree with that.
For sure. And I think it's nice that the Kwamis are shown with their animal form, and they kind of like through their dialogue show how ancient they are now. Like Tiki remarking that, oh, you guys invented electricity and girls can wear pants, so like that they've been around for a while. And you kind of also, Tiki has more of a personality here, and this is really funny because this is a suggestion that I made in my rewrite video, where I was like, Tiki should be more of like a drill sergeant to Marinette, that she's like giving her pointers and training her. And that was exactly what Tiki was like here in the beginning and towards the end as well, just being more of a mentor figure to Marinette, as well as Plag as well, who is, even though like begrudgingly, more of a mentor figure to Adrian as well.
No, yeah. I liked how they handled Tiki here. Interesting that they're able to more interact with their Kwamis even when they're transformed. I think that's a neat inclusion of it. I'm actually looking at the description of the movie. It says, after a guardian of magical jewels turns an awkward girl and a popular boy into superheroes, they can never reveal their identities even to each other. It was never established in the movie that they couldn't reveal themselves to each other.
That's also a note that I wrote down, is that they weren't told by Master Fu, like in the original, that they couldn't ever like show their identities to each other, to anyone, in fact. So that point just seems kind of like it's pointless in the summary, because, and honestly, I prefer this, that the identity thing isn't that big a deal.
Though,
unless it's like for the love square, I guess.
Though I guess in this movie, since the whole Hawkma thing was dealt with really quickly, they technically, even though there was no reason for them to hide it to begin with, they didn't need to hide it anymore at the end because the danger was gone, I suppose. But again,
that's true.
But again, they never said they never could find out each other, that there was never even a conversation about it at all.
Yeah.
And it also...
That's probably a plot hole, isn't it?
It wouldn't be if it wasn't in the description. Like,
that's true.
It wouldn't even cross my mind, really, until I saw it there. And it also said that Adrian was a popular boy. But
he's not that popular. He's just like an average kid in school.
He is. No one really pays him any attention except for Chloe, who never interacts with him, which is interesting, and Nino. That's pretty much it. Like, is he a model in this world? I don't think he is.
No, we never see him modeling or for anything. He's just like kind of the son of this wealthy fashion designer. He doesn't even have a bodyguard here. Like, Natalie is less of a bodyguard and more of just Gabriel's assistant.
Yeah. So they could have changed the description of the movie a little bit, but aside from that, the story is pretty solid. Some, what's the word? A little bit of pacing on my end aside. It's solid, and I was actually wondering during the movie, it's like, okay, we're getting to like the climax part. I wonder if there's going to be a third act breakup, and there ended up being a mini third act breakup. I was wondering if it was going to happen or not, and it sort of did. But fortunately, it was resolved quickly, so I appreciate that. They didn't linger on it too long.
Because it was dumb. It was just romance drama.
It was just romance drama. It's exactly what it was.
It's not even like serious romance drama. It's literally a guy confessing to a girl. She says no, and he gets butthurt over it. Like, get over yourself. Seriously.
Can we talk about him in his room, just on his bed, listening to that?
It was so pathetic. That took away so many points of charity I had for him. Anyway, I'm not a fan of like Adrian Cat Noir anyway, but I am a huge fan of Ladybug and Marinette in this movie. And speaking of Ladybug, I think that this show handles pacing actually way better than even the show because the character progression is shown much more clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ladybug and Cat Noir don't immediately get along. Like, we see them kind of like arguing a lot when they first met. And we also see like how Ladybug doesn't immediately become really good at her powers. Like, she's still, my like standout moment was when Marinette was like done for the day. They just beat the gargoyle Akuma and she was about to leave, and when she like was about to zip away, she hits her head on a branch. I thought that was such a good, a good show of like still integrating how Marinette is a clumsy person, but then her being Ladybug actually helps her develop as a person as well, as she becomes more coordinated through the montage of her like doing gymnastics and things like that, and becoming more confident as a person as we see her like standing up to Chloe. So the character progression is really good. I don't think that Adrien really got that much character progression though. It's definitely still a heavy emphasis on Marinette, whereas Adrian's character progression just kind of went from being sad to being really like lovesick. But that's only as Cat Noir, and like as Adrien, he's still pretty much like a just sad blank slate.
Sad boy.
Until the end, when he actually like stands up to his dad and like actually shows some backbone and rage. But that was like towards the end though.
I appreciated that though. I'm like, oh yes, he's
that was good.
up.
That's actually like one of my suggestions in my rewrite as well. So that's why I'm saying like they are addressing a lot of the issues I wish they addressed in the show.
Man, I forgot the point I was gonna make, but I don't. Yeah, they didn't emphasize Adrien as much as they could have, other than sad boy, but at least he had more going on with him than Gabriel did. We didn't see much of him and / Hawkmoth. I was actually really excited for a little bit to see Hawkmoth because his song wasn't. It's not going on any playlist of mine, but I liked seeing the personality in it. He was like such a goofy Disney villain in there, and I was like, oh, this is a fun turn. He was like really
I liked it.
He's really jumpy.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. He was like really jumpy and like energetic, and I was like, oh, and kind of silly with like his movements. Like, okay, let's see more of that. That's really like Hades like or Yzma like. So I kind of appreciated that, and then we don't see him again until he decides to go all dramatic and stuff. So that kind of disappointed me a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. They could have definitely focused more on Gabriel as well, especially since he plays not just the role of the villain, but also a parent to Adrien and also like mourning the loss. And it's like, I like how he is as Hawkmoth here, how he's like so more blatantly abusive and rude to Nuru. Like, just like telling her that, oh, you work for me, you shut up and listen and let me do what I want. And it's interesting to see how it's more clear that he's power hungry, like how he's affected by his power in the movie. But also, yeah, most of his development just happens at the end when he's already a wreck. Like, how did he become a wreck? We don't see that. He just suddenly like turns up as a wreck to Adrien when he comes home one day. And then at the end, he finally, like, how did he get that scar? He suddenly had a scar on his face as well.
And like has he not been sleeping? Has the Miraculous been draining his energy? Like, what's happening with him?
Yeah, that's definitely one area that they failed to incorporate. But I guess, I don't know, the movie, would it have had too many things to focus on if they also incorporated Gabriel's story and Adrien's story more than Marinette's?
That's tricky. But okay, look, the movie is 1 hour and 42 minutes. I think if they really wanted to, they could have bumped it up maybe to like 2 hours. It's movies these days are kind of long anyway. There's things that they could have done to give us more Adrien and more Gabriel. Like if Disney movies can, give us stuff with their villains, at least classic Disney movies. Like, they were setting him up to be super fun. That's just more my thing. They were setting up Hawkmoth to be super fun and charismatic, and then they just, like, took him away, which was a bit of a bummer.
I mean, like, during the montage, even with Cat Noir and Ladybug defeating all of those monsters, they could have shown more of Gabriel as Hawkmoth in there, too, like how he's dealing with all of that.
But yeah, there's definitely something missing in between. We see him starting to be a villain, and we see the end. What happened in between? Like, is he not getting sleep? Why isn't he doing what is he not eating? We need. I think that part needed to be kind of explained a little bit. I don't know what was happening with him. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But hey, he's competent in this movie, though. Like, he saw his plan wasn't working, and he did something way bigger.
He actually, like, tried different things and isn't relegated to one shtick for several seasons in this movie, which makes sense because it's a movie. They have to wrap everything up. But yeah, no, I liked Gabriel a lot more here. And just regarding, well, I guess we'll get to the design later, so we'll skip that for now. Another thing was the relationship. I like how Marinette's parents played a bigger role in this movie than they did in the entire series. I really like that we got to see her relationship with her dad. I think it's so sweet how they are, and I love that they included that because I feel like that's really lacking in the show. Like, they completely just disregard the adults and the parents, and I like that they got more of a highlight here. It was a nice touch for me. It really, like, humanizes Marinette.
No, yeah, it was definitely cute. I think I kind of realize now I'm probably gonna be the more negative one in this review. Guys, don't get me wrong, it was a good movie. I'm just a picky person. I need to get this stuff on my chest, guys. Overall, it's good. We're just going into this. No one attack me in the comments. Tim, I see you in the comments. Stop writing. It's good. Okay, it's fine. I don't think it resolved like that thing that was happening between Marinette and her dad with him embarrassing. I wanted like a resolution to the whole her getting embarrassed by him thing, because it seemed like he really felt bad about it. So it would have been cool if there was like at least
that's true.
a scene resolving that. But they seemed all cool at the end, which is fine. It just seemed like he looked so hurt by that. He was like, I'm embarrassing to you.
That's true. That was a plot thread that they kind of left hanging. They never resolved how Marinette felt ashamed of her dad and her dad being hurt by that, and Marinette didn't even seem to realize that she hurt her dad when she said that.
No, I think she was too kind of stuck in her emotions at that moment, like, oh, woe is me kind of thing. She didn't realize what happened, but still, it would have been cool to see a resolution to that. And this didn't necessarily need to happen, but it also would have been cool to have like Adrian interact with her dad, just as a difference between how his dad treats him and how her dad treats him.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
I thought that was gonna happen because he was already there and he was seeing how Marinette was interacting with her dad. Like, I thought they were gonna go down the road of wow, this is what a real father should have acted like, and I feel like that could have tied it closely to why he kind of had that outburst to Gabriel later on.
Oh yeah, yeah, that actually would have been great. That yeah, I agree with that. That would have been a good lead up to that moment, instead of just him out of nowhere going, "You suck." Out of nowhere, there was like, I mean, he was sad though. He was a sad boy the whole movie, but still.
Yeah, I feel like the pepperings are there. It just like didn't connect or follow all the way through.
Let's see. So let's see. Got the beginning.
Yeah. The teamwork between Cat Noir and Ladybug is also so much better in this movie compared to the show, because Cat Noir actually has initiative and does things by his own autonomy instead of just having to wait for Ladybug to tell him what to do, like in the show.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Like, even from the first time you see him, he's like, I got this. And he goes off to do it. Like, Ladybug definitely grows a little bit more as the leader and the commander, but he's still kind of taking his own initiative during certain things. Both when he's being petty and when he's being cocky. But yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Here's the thing, because I said in my Adrian redesign and rewrite that I wanted him to be like, he could be more of a wild card that Ladybug, despite being the commander, can't really control. She doesn't really control him or have command over him. And that's exactly what happened in most of the movie. Like, we see him going off doing his own thing, and then Ladybug having to plan around him rather than telling him straight up what to do. And in the end, like towards the finale, how he kind of went up to the Eiffel Tower by himself anyway because he wanted to, and Ladybug couldn't stop him. So
but anyway, the point is that Cat Noir and Ladybug are more like equal partners here than just a hero and her sidekick.
No, yeah. I definitely agree with that overall. Though there are some points in the movie where just on a production standpoint, I wonder how much influence Thomas Astruc had in this movie, because there were some instances where there was definitely more spotlight on Ladybug. Yeah, I know it's part of her character development and all, but look from the outside looking in. If this were in a real world situation here, there was way more emphasis on her than there was Ladybug, according to like the crowd and people. Like, they don't know what her character arc is and all that, but it's always, hey, Ladybug's great. Who's that guy? Like,
Yeah, it's true. Cat Noir doesn't get as much recognition as Ladybug, at least when it comes to like hyping out the crowd, when like they're public facing, I guess. Cause like in the magazine covers and everything, they were appearing together.
Yes,
but
so they know he exists because of those newspapers. They know he's there. So, like, that part at the end, it's the end of season 4 all over again. It's where everyone is shouting Ladybug, and Cat Noir is he's like, guys, he helped. he helped you guys. He helped save the world, guys.
The issue is that the show tries to pass them off as being equals, but really they should have just committed to the bit that Cat Noir is the sidekick, like Batman and Robin. Batman is the big guy, the boss man, and Robin is the sidekick. He does his own thing, but he's still a sidekick. And the show's downfall is that they try to make it seem as though that's not the case, that they are equals, and yet they don't treat them as equals.
Yeah, no, kind of same for this movie, though. At the same time, there was a point in the movie where they could have had an out with it, because Cat Noir was like, I'm your sidekick, and that could have been like, okay, he's the sidekick, so okay, he's not gonna get as much focus. But then Ladybug's like, no, we're partners. Also, your name is in the title of this movie and show.
Yeah.
So like, okay, you guys are saying he's partners. Let's see if you guys are gonna get the same amount of recognition. Let's go.
And they.
So that seems like an Astruc thing there, kind of, because Ladybug's the best thing ever. So I don't know. So that part is a little annoying, but
I mean, yeah. If I guess we're focusing more on plot holes. So I'm gonna jump to plot holes on my list then.
No, we could do plot holes. That's fine. There weren't too many, but the few that I saw, I was like, wait a second. It's a good sign for a movie if you don't have to sit and think about if something makes sense or not too many times. And I fortunately didn't have to do that too many times, but I did have to do it a few times.
I have a few.
Like,
it's like
like Alia's pictures.
Yeah, that's one thing.
But also consider that they are canonically breaking out in song in universe. It's not like a takeaway. It's not an out of universe like fourth wall breaking moment where they break into song like most Disney films. They are actually like in universe breaking out in song. Because Marinette mentions that after her number after her duet with Tiki, she was like, first a song and then blah blah blah. So canonically, all those musical numbers are actually happening in the show. And I don't know what that means for the world. That everything just stops as they sing, I guess.
I mean, theoretically, it could have been just that song and part of Adrian and Marinette's duet song that could have been in universe. We know for sure that the Tiki and Marinette one was because she mentioned it, and Adrian had Cat Noir set up a piano to sing, so that one arguably, at least the part with the piano, was. Hard to say if everything else was, because it does bring up questions. If everything's actually happening in universe, it brings up questions for sure. Because like with Hawkmoth with his song, where did this dungeon of people come from?
Where did the skulls come from that he was sliding down?
Are we to assume that Hawkmoth has a bunch of prisoners somewhere?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, unless
I mean, the people that were in the dungeon that he akumatized ended up being the next villains that Adrian and Marinette were fighting. So I guess he does just have a dungeon of people that he keeps.
That's both funny and concerning at the same time. Like, so many questions. Where is this dungeon? How did he... Because if they were in actual jail, then, like, if the song wasn't actually happening and they were in actual jail and Hawkmoth broke them out, I feel like we should have gotten, like, some news report or something about them breaking out, but they were in his jail, and then the news person was like, hey, you guys caught the most notorious thieves in all of Paris, which were they not caught before, which swings back around to, are they stuck in Gabriel's dungeon?
And that's another thing as well. I can't believe they never showed what happened to Gabriel afterwards.
Oh, you're right.
Because the news reporter said that Gabriel Agreste was the person behind the destruction of Paris, but we don't see what happens to him. And then Adrian just shows up for the ball like nothing happened. And I guess it makes sense because he wasn't really involved in any of the crimes, but what happened to Gabriel? I was actually hoping that we at least get to see him being escorted to prison or something, because at the end we only see Natalie, absent Gabriel, entering the sanctum where Emily is.
That's a good...
So where did he go?
I mean, I assume he's in jail, but yeah, there was no resolution to that. That's so weird. It's like Adrian seems completely fine with his dad of being the villain and probably going to jail, so he's down a parent. By the way, where is he staying? Because his legal guardian's gone.
Well, Natalie is also his guardian. So she might. That's like, I assume she would have taken over his care. And the house, we see the house in the end is still intact. So he would just still be living there. But the question is, where did Gabriel go?
I mean, Natalie said she lived somewhere else. And
yeah.
And so, okay. And then it would have been nice to have a scene between him and Natalie for some reason after all of this. But yeah, knowing where Gabriel went, that'd be great, actually. No, we don't know. We don't know where he is.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to him.
And I guess Natalie is going to be the villain for the next movie, perhaps?
Probably.
Although...
Because they showed the Peacock Miraculous with Emily at the end, so I assume that Natalie's just going to take the Peacock Miraculous and become the next villain.
But the question then becomes, why would she? Because it seems like Gabriel has resolved, that he is emotionally resolved now, like, okay, I won't do this anymore, kind of thing. So unless she's gonna break him out, okay, I hope they do not retract on his character development, and like she tries to break him out and he becomes Hawkmoth again. That I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because if there's 2 more movies coming, that's what I'm wondering. Is like, what is the story gonna be?
Like, what's Natalie's motivation? She seems like a decent person in here.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I don't know what's happening.
And
there.
also, you know how the gargoyle Akuma got burst, right?
Yes.
It was burst,
Yeah.
and the Akuma just flew away, and nothing happened with it. Like, Ladybug never purified it.
That's true. It's kind of out there. They're never gonna bring this up again. It's just out in the world, living its best life, I guess.
Yeah, because the first time she used her purification was when she fought the mime and magician duo. And then what happened to the first Akuma? They just forgot about it.
It's gonna go meet a nice girl butterfly. They're gonna have little butterfly babies and all that. It's out there. I'm waiting for.
I guess so.
I'm waiting for the spin-off now, where we just follow it on its adventures, I guess. And fascinating in general how people get de-akumatized in here. They don't. There's no akumatized item. They just get possessed.
They just get possessed, and then they get the Akuma beat out of them, and that's how they are the akumatized object here.
Yeah. But except they don't have to get destroyed. They just have to get hit really, really hard.
Yeah, knocked unconscious.
Which is fascinating. Do I like that more? It definitely... Okay, I like... The system is a lot simpler here. The whole magic system's a lot simpler, and I do kind of appreciate that. So, yeah, that... I had another plot hole, aside from the Alia thing. No, let's talk about the Alia thing. Where'd those pictures come from?
Yeah, no, that's just silly. How did she get them? Was she there? No, she was not. But I think another thing that was my big issue is that after Hawkmoth akumatizes himself, we don't even know what his powers are. Like, what are his power parameters at that point? Like, he can just destroy an entire city and turn water into magma? Like, what is up with that?
It's just the power. What are the powers that he got when he akumatized himself? That was like really unclear. It just seemed like he could do anything, like he was a literal god in that moment.
He got villain powers.
He got magma out of nowhere and telekinesis.
Yeah.
He could fly.
He got evil villain powers.
He got the force out of that, I guess.
He just got very generic bad guy powers.
Yeah, and the second and the last one that I have is how did at the finale when Cat Noir was being held by the Force, how did Marinette get up there to knock him out of the way when Hawkmoth shot him?
She jumped with the power of love, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Maybe because we see her canonically being like an Olympic level gymnast in the montage after becoming Ladybug. I guess she just used her Olympic level gymnastic skills to get up there.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened, for sure. Also, interesting note, it seems like I was gonna say the Miraculous doesn't seem to really enhance too many. It doesn't automatically make her coordinated, so I appreciate that.
Yeah,
get an automatic physical, like they can jump high and they can take hits, cool, but it's not automatic coordination, so that's cool. But yeah, I guess she used her fantastic gymnastic skills, which she always had. What kind of gym class are they in, by the way? Where they have to be doing flips and stuff on a...
They're doing sawhorses.
On a high balance beam. Does everyone in class have to do that? To do the flips that she was doing?
I guess that's what they do in France.
Oh. Well, they got a way better gym system than they do in the US. My goodness. Like, they were all laughing and looking at her like she's a failure for not doing the flips and stuff at the beginning. So you all can do this. You all can flip and tumble on a high balance beam. Is that what you guys are trying to tell me here?
I guess that's, I mean, can't you? I mean, if you're French, I guess that's just like it's a requirement to be French is to be able to do that, clearly.
I mean, no wonder the Miraculous are in France, because that's where all the acrobatic people are.
I mean, technically Master Fu took them from Tibet.
I know.
Or Nepal.
I know. They didn't mention that.
I mean,
they
but
didn't mention that in this movie,
guess,
so it could be a different canon.
Maybe. Or it might not just be revealed yet, because he's still alive. No, I mean, he still has his memories. I killed him off in my rewrite.
We don't even... Yeah, the rules are... I think we have to, like, almost start completely over with, like, the rules of how the Miraculous and stuff work in this world, because things are different. Like, not bad different, just different, so we don't quite know how everything is going to work. One of the plot holes I had was he took off Cat Noir's mask and recognized him, well, half his mask, and yet there's if we're going by the logic of the show, then there should be a magic there concealing who they are, but he wasn't de-transformed yet, and he still had his ring on him, and yet he could still be recognized, which implies that Marinette should be recognized as Ladybug if this isn't there, if this magic field isn't there, so there shouldn't have been conflict because she should have been recognized, because she looks like Marinette. That's always been one of my issues with the Ladybug costume. She's not fooling anybody. So
I think the thing with the mask, with Adrian's mask, is that it wasn't taken off. It was, like, destroyed by other miraculous powers. So that was because in the show, the only time that they tried taking off the mask was an akumatized villain, so not really a miraculous holder. And the way they tried taking off the mask was just by taking off the mask. Whereas here, it's like destroyed by Akuma power, so that was kind of how I reasoned it. I don't really care that much, and I was watching that movie acting like I've never seen the show, so I wouldn't know how any of that works.
No, that's fair. From a perspective of someone who hasn't seen the show, then that wouldn't really mean anything. But as someone who has always fundamentally had a problem with Ladybug's outfit and the lack of hiding identities and how the magic works, I can't help but have that part of my mind creep in there. But that's...
Yeah, well, keep in mind that literally they didn't have to. They weren't told to hide their identities in the movie,
that's
so
true.
It doesn't matter.
That's true. It's true.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, those are
the
main plot holes that I noticed. So it wasn't too many, they weren't too glaring, just things I had to sit and pause about. And this concludes the Unscripted review with Callimara. I know the end was abrupt, but we were having so many issues with the internet connection between us that we had to cut it short. We equally decided to just talk about these next points on our own for the sake of ease. So here you go. Here's some random unscripted thoughts of mine. The rest of my unscripted thoughts will be on Callimara's part that she'll have on her channel. So, I know that at some point during the review, I brought up the Storm King, which was the main villain from the My Little Pony movie that came out a few years ago in theaters. And I compared him to Hawkmoth in this movie. But, villains aside, I've always considered and still consider My Little Pony Friendship is Magic to be a better show than Miraculous Ladybug. However, now they both have movies, and I think Miraculous Ladybug has a better movie than My Little Pony did. It just is what it is. Granted, they're both doing different things. The My Little Pony movie isn't a retelling of G4. It is an event that occurs during G4. Whereas the Miraculous Ladybug movie is a different canon. It's a different way that events turned out compared to the show. I'm only making the comparisons between these two because they are both movies that occurred because their shows are super popular, and they both happen to get theatrical releases. And plus, MLP sounds like MLB, so I just felt like adding the arbitrary comparison. The movies really aren't comparable, to be honest. But My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is my favorite show of all time. But the movie left a lot to be desired. Whereas the Miraculous Ladybug movie, it does what the show should have. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, only because I found it funny that my favorite show's movie wasn't that great, whereas this show that I dislike because of many of the decisions it makes has the superior movie. Neither movie is perfect, but the Miraculous movie did more for the show. Technically not doing more for the show because they're different canons. Anyway, the best show ended up having the least good movie, whereas the least good show ended up having the better movie. That's just the point I wanted to make is all. Here's another random thought. Did anyone else get the feeling of this movie feeling very similarly to Hercules, Disney's Hercules? It has a lot of similarities to it, you know, with the outcast who is clumsy and gets everything wrong and people don't have any faith in him or her. And then some short guy comes along to train, if not, you know, help release the potential of this person. The similarities get kind of muddled with Tiki and Plag being in there, but yeah, the character getting a lot more confident and competent, and more than anything, it's the montage that happens after Ladybug and Cat Noir save the day successfully together more confidently. There is this musical montage happening where we see Hawkmoth sending out bad guy after bad guy, and Ladybug and Cat Noir are dealing with them. It's very Zero to Hero. It's almost exactly Zero to Hero, down to the point where the heroes are getting sponsorships by some companies. I feel like this whole thing was, at least this part of the movie, was inspired by Hercules, specifically the Zero to Hero part. Even the third act breakup between the two lovers, or supposed lovers, not yet lovers yet, is kind of Hercules-ish. And there might be some more similarities in other parts of the movie, but I just thought that was neat. That's probably why I was thinking of Hades when I was thinking of Hawkmoth and how animated he was during his song, because it did come off Hades-like as well as Yzma-like a little bit. So yeah, if anyone else sees the comparisons between Disney's Hercules and the Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir movie, let me know that I am not crazy. And upon thinking about it further, I actually realized that I do agree with Callie with what she said earlier about Hawkmoth's song and how his campiness in that song is completely tonally different from how he is in the rest of the movie. Yes, I agree that it's really out of place. The song is out of place and the way he's acting is out of place. I think I only liked it because it reminds me of Hades or Yzma, but I also recognize that that kind of characterization does not work for Hawkmoth in this movie. I think if it were its own separate entity, like its own random music video that had absolutely nothing to do with Miraculous, I think it'd be fine and I would like it all the more. But in the context of this movie, that song is so, less the song and more how animated and comedic Hawkmoth is, doesn't fit. It doesn't fit with everything else that's happening. I accidentally let my classic Disney villain bias kind of peek in there, but yes, I recognize it doesn't fit. I like it, but I don't like it. And let me just give you my overall thoughts on the movie. I know we kind of already did that earlier, but now it's just me and you. This was a good movie. It was a good movie, not perfect. Only The Lion King 1994 can be perfect. But I enjoyed it. It made a lot of improvements over the show in such a small amount of time. There's a lot more resolutions, as there would have to be since it is a movie. Then again, if they really wanted to, they could have drawn out this Hawkmoth plot line. Since there is going to be more than one movie, there's going to be at least 3 if everything goes well the way they want it to. But it was a very good movie. It improved some of the things I had problems with, for the most part. If this plot line was, let's see, if this universe of Ladybug and Cat Noir was a show, I don't know how long it would take them to get all of these plot points. I've always had the opinion that Miraculous Ladybug, at least the quote-unquote aggressed arc, didn't need 5 seasons to complete. I think it reasonably could have been done in 1 or 2. So I think a lot of good things would have happened if this storyline that we got in this movie was spread out across a season. Maybe 2 if we're being really generous here. I don't remember the point I was making here. Oh, my mind's all over the place. Welcome to Unscripted Aloubell, guys. But yeah, very, very good movie. Would I watch it again? I don't have a reason to. I'm not really a person who goes back and watches movies. Sorry, I'm not someone who goes back and casually rewatches movies on my own. If someone did like a reaction of this movie, sure, I would watch it. I wouldn't mind doing that. But I'm not really someone who rewatches stuff. But if I had like all the time in the world, maybe I'd see it again on my own just to enjoy it as a movie and less from a reviewer's standpoint. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Not because it's not good. It's just I got other things to watch and I got other things to do. But there would be no harm in it. It is a good movie. Good, but flawed. But overall, good. I was not ever looking at my watch at points going, when will this movie end? It's taking too long. Like Callie said earlier on, they got through every point they needed. There wasn't any filler, and they just kept the story going, which is good and kept my attention. Anywho, I recommend this movie to anyone who is a fan of Miraculous Ladybug, because now we can see the kind of story we could have gotten. It's not the initial concept that we got in the PV. That one I still want to see fleshed out legitimately, because man, the anime could have been so good. But this is the next best thing, I think. One criticism I will give it though, along with the other criticisms, is that this movie does not feel like something that a random person who is not familiar with Miraculous can just watch. I mean, they can, and I'm sure a whole bunch have at this point, but it seems like a good chunk of this movie is kind of making the assumption that you already know who some of these characters are and what their deal is, as well as some of the backstories. Granted, yeah, some of the lore is different than how it is in the show, but with how rushed things are in this movie, I think if you don't have like the satisfaction of knowing a lot of the character arcs and such, you won't know why some of this stuff is such a big deal. And maybe in your mind as a fan, you can fill in some bits that we didn't get. Like we didn't get enough Gabriel, and sure, his characterization in this movie is a bit different than how it is in the show, but you can still blur the lines a little bit in your head in order to, again, fill in some bits that the movie didn't provide. It's kind of, again, similar to the My Little Pony movie. The My Little Pony movie also kind of made some assumptions that if you're already a fan of G4, so we don't have to explain absolutely everything. It was not a movie made for new viewers, and neither is this movie. However, I do think that the Miraculous movie is more new viewer friendly than the My Little Pony movie is, simply because this movie is an origin story. And by definition of origin, you get to start at the beginning and you at least get some context. Whereas the My Little Pony movie canonically takes place in between seasons 7 and 8. So there's already an assumption that you kind of know who these characters are and why their actions are significant or not. So in that regard, yes, the Miraculous movie handles new viewers better. It's not perfect, but it did a better job. But again, I know it's working with a very small amount of time and trying to shove an entire seasons worth of story into one movie, and for what we've got, it's not bad. I don't know where this story is going. It looks like maybe Natalie might end up being the villain for the next movie, but that doesn't make sense because she's a decent person, and Gabriel seems to already have, been emotionally resolved. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but I guess we'll end up finding out. Good job, Jeremy Zag. You didn't disappoint me. Nicely done. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. But in the next movie, if you end up doing something with Chloe, I would really appreciate it. Please, please do something good with Chloe. Please. Although, Mr. Zag, can we talk for a second here? We know there's going to be a second movie and probably a third one as well. So you've got a real opportunity for merchandise here. With Ladybug and Cat Noir, we can add the other heroes in there. And yeah, we know Rena Rouge, Carapace, we got them. But Queen Bee, let's sit and talk for a second. You have the chance. You, Jeremy Zag, have the power to redeem Chloe Bourgeois. You can make her the Queen Bee that we all wanted her to be. Please, please do it. We've reset the canon. You are our only hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. Please, please, hashtag save Chloe Bourgeois' character. You can do it. I believe in you. Let's get this going, guys. Movie 2, Queen Bee. The Rise of Queen Bee. Ladybug and Cat Noir, the movie, The Rise of Queen Bee. Okay, don't actually do that, but, low-key kind of do that. Have her in the movie, please. I'm sorry, I like Chloe's potential so much, and I'm still mad about what happened in the show. Alright. Unscripted part over. This concludes part 1 of our movie review collaboration. If you want to see the next part, head on over to Callimara's channel. In the meantime, what do you think about Ladybug and Cat Noir the movie? That is, if you've seen it. Please put spoiler tags if you're going to discuss anything particularly important. If you haven't seen it, what are you looking forward to? Comment below and let's get this conversation started. And remember, I'm the artistic Aloubell, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for more reviews, rants, and rewrites. And remember to head on over to Callimara's channel in order to check out part 2. Subscribe to her as well because she is awesome. But as for now, that's all there is. There isn't any more.